All right, good morning, everybody. I looked at the date before I start. So today is Saturday, July 29th. It's about 8:40 in the morning. Over at the garage all day today. And the goal today is to try to get the outer sill tacked in, if not completely welded in today on the driver's side. We'll see how that goes. The first order of business is going to be to try to get this door lined properly. Again, my major concern back here is this gap at the top especially. I'm hoping that it's just an adjustment point and that I'll be able to get it adjusted in by adjusting the hinges. The hinges that I have on there now are in relatively good shape. Little movement about the hinge pins. I did go up in the attic this morning and check the hinges I have from the black car. Two on the door. One moved sort of a little bit, kind of like my the one that's moving on the door now, but one was completely solid. So it may be worth an investment for me to purchase new hinges to try and get the thing super tight. But I think for now it's definitely going to be tight enough to be able to line this door up. So hopefully I can get the door lined, and then I'm going to take a look at this sill. If you're familiar with buying the sills at all, you can get a quote-unquote aftermarket or the quote-unquote OEM version from Steelcraft. That's what I purchased. It's an extra, $40 or $50. But you spend that money to try and get a solid, a solid product that's measured well, and everything else is measured well so far. But I'm kind of concerned for this gap here, and that it just seems like that gap, or at least that size of gap, shouldn't really be there, especially since it's flush towards the back. So I'm going to take some measurements and compare it to the sill that I took off the car and see how that lines up. So who knows? That's my intention, at least for first thing this morning, is to get this door lined first. So I'll pull the sill off and start working on the door. Hopefully I don't get totally frustrated and crazy and give up, and hopefully I can get it aligned. So I will check back in later and we'll see what kind of mental state I am in. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Got some progress on the door. Obviously I shrunk that gap up pretty well there. I don't know, what's that, 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch or so. I think I'm relatively happy with that, but unfortunately as I get further down, the gap goes to nearly 0. So in my head, the top has to come back a little bit so that the bottom can roll forward. So essentially I would want to kind of twist it like this, I think. The problem is also here, if you can see, I'm not even close to lining up the holes. So if the door needs to come forward, the whole thing needs to come forward. And this, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's going to work too well. There's a huge gap down here in the door as you get down towards the bottom, but I'm hoping that the sill takes a lot of that up. Oh, right there I am. Hopefully the sill takes a lot of that up. I'm going to fit the sill up. I'm going to fit the sill up here in a little bit and just kind of go from here and see what it looks like. So I'm happy with the top gap, especially like right here. I did put the door thing in. Let's see if it actually opens. Yep, hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Put the door jamb in. That's not adjusted at all, so it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to adjust that. But obviously the door's still kind of wobbly because not everything's all tightened down. But so progress, whether or not it's progress in the right direction is kind of hard to tell, because to get that bottom hinge lined up, I may have to totally misadjust the top. So it's fun. I loosened up the door side hinges too, to give me a little bit more play. That's normally used for in and out stuff, for moving the door, inboard and outboard. So, but we'll see how it goes. Still chugging along. All right, it is 3:04. This is the final update for the day. I know that seems kind of early. But I think the reason that I can't get the door aligned, and I've been working at it all day, is because I did not properly support the A-post, the upper portion of it, when I cut out the bottom portion of it, and when I welded it back in, I developed a little bit of a sag. So pretty much no matter what I could do without lining up the door allowed it to fit. So I essentially put the burst plate in the back there, clicked the door shut, and it was way off on the front where the hinges are, nearly impossible to bolt up, and it seemed to be in the low direction. So I think what'll happen is as this would lift up, this would come kind of straight up, but this guy would also tend to turn to the back a little bit because it's captured at the front, so it kind of twists the bottom hinge here. So I think that's what I need in both ways to make this fit properly. I pulled all the gunk out of the passenger side door and get that guy up, and just bolted up with one hinge, and it's, you know, I mean, you can see right away that's just me holding it. You can see right away that it's nearly perfect, and I only have one hinge in there, and it's loose, and I could still line it up with no problem. I was kind of hoping, frankly, not to find that, but I did. So I'm going to stop here for the day. I'm a bit frustrated, obviously, a bit disappointed. I mean, I got a lot of tack welds in it. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head, I'm gonna ask my favorite form is to essentially cut and just separate the A post, the bottom of the A post at a convenient spot, so that I don't cut anything else besides that A post. Get the position where I need it, and then weld it back in. The problem is I don't really know. I didn't take any of those measurements, so I don't know what a proper height is. What I did do was take a measurement from the center of the dashboard out to the windshield mounts on both sides, and kind of held the level there, sort of like this, and then held it level, got it perfectly level, and then measured the distance from the level to the hole, and I got, I don't know, maybe 2/10 of an inch difference, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but there may be other differences there that you really can't see, like that twist difference that I was talking about. But anyway, so like I said, pretty disappointed, a little discouraged, cleaning up, and I'm going to call it a day. I'll make a post on the forum tonight and see if anybody has any words of wisdom or advice or anything, and then I'll try to get back at it tomorrow. Cheers.